Discover how a heartwarming act of a single mom saved a CEO's life. Their unexpected love changed everything. In the bustling heart of a Midwestern town, under a sky painted with hues of orange and pink, Sarah Evans poured syrup over pancakes with a steady hand. At 35, her world revolved around two bright-eyed kids and a determination that burned like the morning sun. Every shift at the diner revealed her resilience, a point of pride as she juggled straining bills, whispered hopes, and untouched dreams. She worked hard, and though money slipped through her fingers like grains of sand, she wore her struggles like armor. Yet, often she felt invisible in a society that revered wealth and status over the heart and grit of everyday heroes. Just blocks away, Jack Thompson radiated success. CEO of a renowned company, he glided through life in a polished suit and gleaming car, outsiders labeling him as the American dream. Yet behind his office doors, stress weighed heavy. A recent health scare gnawed at him, lurking in the shadows of meetings and extravagant parties. One evening, seeking clarity in the town park's serenity, he felt the panic rise before his world faded to black. Collapsing onto the path, the night engulfed him, unaware of how his life was about to intertwine with a beacon of hope. From a distance, Sarah's son, little Charlie, spotted Jack's fall. His heart raced as he sprinted towards his mom, small limbs pumping with urgency. "Mom! Help!" he cried, voice tinged with fear. Without a second thought, Sarah's maternal instincts kicked in, pushing her past doubt and dread. She dashed forward, dropping everything: the plates, the worry, her own fatigue as she reached Jack's side. Adrenaline surged through her veins as she knelt beside him. The world around faded, sounds of laughter and rustling leaves drowned out by the thundering beat of her heart. With every compression and breath, she drew on her long-forgotten CPR training, channeling determination and fierce love into every move. And in that charged moment, Sarah became more than just a single mother. She became a hero. As sirens wailed in the distance and Jack gasped for breath once more, their lives became irrevocably changed. In recovery, Jack found himself reflecting profoundly on the woman who saved him. Her strength echoed through the sterile walls of the hospital. As he watched her leave, worn yet radiant, he felt an inexplicable connection. She challenged everything he thought he knew about success and happiness. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. For Sarah, the unexpected attention from a man like Jack both thrilled and terrified her. A silk-stocking life beckoned, yet it felt like a galaxy away from her joyful chaos. Could he truly understand her world? When their paths crossed again, it was electric. Conversations flowed about dreams and struggles, as laughter bridged their disparate lives. Yet shadows loomed. Friends whispered doubts, the social gap yawning between them as they danced around their growing connection. Just as the bond between them began to mesh, the pressures of judgment ignited a fire. Confronted with disapproval and societal norms, Sarah's heart pounded with confusion and fear. Would they fight for this connection, or would it slip away, lost amid whispers of class and identity? Standing on the brink, both must decide: embrace the thrill of an unexpected love or retreat to the comfort of what they each know. With emotions swirling, a single question loomed: could they defy the odds, or would the world pull them apart? As the days passed after their fateful meeting, Jack couldn't shake the memory of Sarah from his mind. She was more than an adrenaline-fueled moment, she had turned his world upside down. Each time he passed the diner, something tugged at his heartstrings, urging him to go inside. The modest building, with its flickering neon sign, felt both foreign and familiar, the kind of place that harbored laughter, warmth, and simple joys, far removed from the boardrooms and stress of corporate life. Meanwhile, Sarah struggled with her own emotions. Returning to her routine felt daunting. She loved the laughter of her children and the bustle of the diner, but thoughts of Jack lingered like a sweet song in her heart. She had glimpsed a life that felt larger than her own, yet the fear of stepping into that new world paralyzed her. Would he still see her as his savior if they crossed into each other's quiet chaos? Or would he be just another reminder of what she could never have? It was a warm Saturday morning when curiosity got the better of Jack. It was time to meet the woman who had unknowingly revolutionized his outlook on life. He parked his car down the street, taking a moment to gather his thoughts. Would she even want to see him? The thought stirred his anxiety. Then he noticed a small hand waving at him from the diner's entrance. It was Charlie, and behind him stood Sarah, a mixture of surprise and warmth gracing her face. "Mr. Thompson. You came." Charlie squeaked, his eyes shining with excitement. Sarah hesitated, uncertain how to balance surprise with her child's joy. "Hello, Charlie." Jack greeted, bending down to meet the boy's infectious enthusiasm. "Mom makes the best pancakes," Charlie announced loudly, causing a blush to creep onto Sarah's cheeks. "Well, I'll have to try those pancakes then," Jack replied, his voice steady despite the flutter in his stomach. Sarah stepped forward, her heart racing. "You didn't have to come here." "I wanted to," he cut in gently, meeting her gaze with sincerity. "I just wanted to say thank you not just for that night, but for who you are." Her face softened, and at that moment, they both felt the electricity between them, a dormant spark ignited. Yet moments later, unease interjected. Sarah crossed her arms tightly. "You have a busy life, Jack. I'm not sure if this is can we just enjoy a moment?" He interrupted, a boyish smile breaking through his serious exterior. "Fine," she relented, laughter escaping her lips before she could think twice. Sarah motioned him inside. As they sat at a booth, familiar scents wrapped around them like a warm blanket. They spoke of everything and nothing at the same time, their conversation flowing, punctuated by the laughter of patrons and the sizzle from the kitchen. Jack learned about Sarah's life, the constant juggling of bills, school projects, her love for art that never found the light of day. For him, each story was a new brushstroke, painting a vibrant picture of a woman who turned mundane moments into precious memories, yet, as they delved deeper, the music of vibrant connection changed. A bell chimed as the diner's door swung open, drawing their attention. The noise of the outside world crashed back into their bubble, a gaggle of suits and ties congregating, voice raised, laughter echoing discordantly. Jack's heart sank as he noticed one of his colleagues, Greg, stepping through the threshold with a knowing smirk. What now? Jack thought, dread squeezing his stomach. How would they perceive him? Would they judge him not just for being with Sarah, but for who she was? Caught in that moment of vulnerability, Jack's eyes darted to Sarah. Would she recognize the shifting tides? Would she pull back? With tensions rising, they faced an unspoken choice. Would they stand firm against judgment, or would the weight of outside opinion sever their fragile bond just as it began to flourish? As Jack's heart raced under the looming gaze of Greg and his group, Sarah's steady hand touched his. A clarity surged between them. It was time to battle the fear forged by their worlds, and yet, doubt loomed. Would they weather the storm? In that fleeting moment of connection, they both took a deep breath, grounding themselves. For this chapter of their lives was just beginning, but the stakes felt higher than ever. Where would they go from here? Could they embrace the beautiful chaos together, or lose it all in the whirlwind of expectations? The air shifted in the diner as Jack and Sarah found themselves at the crossroads of connection and hesitation. Greg sauntered over, his smirk broadening with every step, oblivious to the heavy atmosphere surrounding Jack and Sarah. He was the embodiment of the corporate world that Jack had been trying to escape, and now here he was, intruding upon something that felt real. Jack! Greg boomed with exaggerated enthusiasm. Wow, didn't he expect to see you here? His eyes flitted between Jack and Sarah, the glimmer of gossip already sparking in his mind. Jack clenched his jaw, stealing a glance at Sarah, who looked increasingly uncomfortable. Yeah, I'm just. Are you on a work lunch or something? Greg pressed, smirking at Charlie. Nice to see you, kid. Charlie's innocent eyes twinkled, but he had no clue about the social games being played. Mom makes the best pancakes, he declared again, proud of his culinary champion, oblivious to the tension building around him. Greg's laugh cut through the serenity of the moment like a knife. "Oh, you must be the famous Sarah," he said, his tone dripping with mock sincerity. "Careful around this one, Jack. He gets swept off his feet easily." The lightheartedness in the air dissipated, replaced with a palpable tension. Jack felt the heat of embarrassment crawl up his neck. He shot a quick look at Sarah, whose lips pressed into a thin line, a mix of hurt and anger evident in her eyes. Would she think he was just another corporate man trying to make himself look good? "Actually, Jack began, ready to defend Sarah, to stand by her side. But then a flicker of fear shot through him. Would that only serve to pull her back? He hesitated for a split second, weighing the risks. "Anyway," Greg interrupted, clueless of the emotional turmoil surrounding them, "Jack, you'll have to join us for one of our next team meetings. I think we could really use your insight." His perky tone felt jarring, a chime too cheerful in an otherwise somber symphony. Jack's heart raced. "You know, I am taking some time to," he faltered, aware of the precariousness of the moment. But a warm squeeze from Sarah's hand pulled him back to the present. Her gaze was steady, inviting him, pleading with him to hold his ground. "It's okay," Sarah said softly, the strength in her voice surprising him. "We're just enjoying some pancakes together." The unexpected fierceness in her words was like a blast of wind, shaking the doubt off both of them. Jack straightened his back, drawing strength from her resolve. "Yes," he agreed, "just enjoying some pancakes with friends. Something I didn't realize I needed until now." A flicker of admiration sparked in Sarah's eyes, which seemed to thaw the stiff air. Greg's facade of confidence wavered as confusion clouded his expression. "Well, I'll let you two enjoy your little moment," he said, the laughter fading as he turned to leave. "See you later, Jack." With the door swinging shut behind him, the diner's familiar buzz returned, this time tinged with a renewed sense of possibility. Charlie resumed recounting stories about school, and Sarah's cheeks flushed with a mix of gratitude and disbelief. They had withstood their first test together. "How did you do that?" Jack asked, his heart lighter. He had expected her to retreat, but there she was, standing firm. "I don't know," she admitted, a smile creeping onto her face. "All I knew is that if you're brave enough to be here, then I will be too." Something shifted in the air, an unseen weight lifting, a promise pulsing between them. In that moment, nothing else mattered. Jackie and Sarah, once from different worlds, were beginning to forge their own shared path. As they continued their conversation, the energy between them sparked hope. The boundaries between their lives had blurred, just as possibilities had begun to unfold. But as the sun dipped lower outside and shadows stretched through the diner's windows, they both knew challenges lay ahead. Would they really push through the judgments of their separate lives? With every word unspoken lingering like a sweet harmony, they found themselves caught between wanting to bask in each other's presence and the fear of what lay ahead. Would they dare to embrace this fragile yet intense connection, or would the societal wind sweep them apart? Just then, a sudden interruption came. It was Charlie's voice, filled with innocent excitement. "Mom, can we have a picnic tomorrow? Can Mr. Jack come?" Jack's heart swelled at the sheer hope woven in the child's question. It hung in the air like the promise of summer, sweet, simple, and yet so profoundly difficult. The question lingered, sparking another thread in their story. Would Jack take that leap into the challenges of blended worlds? Or would he retreat back to safety, leaving behind the promise of something beautiful? Jack's heart raced as Charlie's innocent question hung in the air. The prospect of a picnic sent excitement coursing through him, but it was quickly tangled with the fear of what such an outing would mean. Would he fit into their world? Would he be welcome? "I'd love to come," he replied, his voice steady despite the whirlwind inside him. Sarah's eyes lit up at his response, and for a moment, their fears were drowned out by shared enthusiasm. "Yay!" Charlie cheered, bouncing in his seat. "We can have sandwiches and lemonade and then you can tell us stories." Sarah chuckled softly, the tension easing between them. She reached across the table, her fingers brushing against Jack's. The warmth of her touch sent butterflies through him, stirring something deep within, a longing for connection, for belonging. "What do you like to do for fun, Mr. Jack?" Charlie's curiosity was relentless as he sipped his chocolate milk with wide eyes, eager for a response that would entertain. Jack thought for a moment. "Well, I like to hike. Being outdoors feels freeing. Also, I enjoy reading about different cultures and exploring new foods. What about you?" "I like soccer," Charlie exclaimed, his face practically glowing as he spoke. "And I want to learn how to ride a bike without training wheels." "Sounds like you're up for an adventure. Maybe we can all go biking together sometime," Jack suggested, hoping to create a little more space in their lives for each other. "That would be super fun." Charlie's enthusiasm was infectious, and he was quickly swept up in excitement, rattling off a list of all the things they could do. Sarah watched them, her heart swelling. Jack was naturally drawing Charlie in, and it was an unexpectedly beautiful sight. For all his talk of corporate life, he had a warm spirit that resonated with her son. But even as she basked in the glow of this moment, reality loomed over her like a shadow. She couldn't ignore the creeping doubt in her mind. Could a man like Jack truly fit into their lives? "When are we doing the picnic?" Charlie interrupted her thoughts, looking back and forth between the two adults as if they were supposed to provide the answer. "Tomorrow sounds perfect," Sarah said, her voice soft but firm. She felt an overwhelming need to protect this burgeoning connection they had formed. "That's settled then." Jack smiled widely, feeling a renewed sense of hope. "And I can bring my famous chip cookies for dessert." "Cookies!" Charlie exclaimed, practically jumping out of his seat. After a moment of exuberant chatter, the diner around them faded into a comforting background hum. Jack and Sarah found themselves often exchanging glances, and a little spark sizzled through the air between them. It was a promise, the kind of promise that curled around the edges of uncertainty, teasing that all they needed to do was embrace it. But just as comfort began to settle in, the bell on the diner's door jangled again. In walked a man clad in a sharp suit, and Jack felt his stomach drop. It was one of his colleagues, someone from his corporate world. "Jack!" His voice boomed like thunder in the intimate diner, making their warm bubble of hope freeze. Jack instinctively straightened in his seat. The intrusion felt jarring, as if someone had pulled a cord, shattering the moment he had tried to build. Would this new connection withstand the glaring scrutiny of his corporate life? Maybe this was all just wishful thinking. As the colleague approached, Jack caught a glimpse of Sarah's face, her expression morphing from happiness to concern. The lunch with the three of them, the picnic he'd just agreed to, suddenly felt very fragile. "Looks like I caught you at a busy time," the colleague remarked, glancing over Jack's shoulder at Sarah and Charlie, his eyes narrow with suspicion. The air shifted again, thick with uncertainty. Jack felt a knot tightening in his stomach. Could he navigate a path between these two worlds? Before he could respond, Charlie piped up, "Mr. Jack is coming to our picnic tomorrow." A fissure cracked open in the atmosphere, the air charged with tension as the realization of that statement settled in. Jack's heart thudded loudly in his chest. Would this picnic be a turning point, or would it unravel into a disaster? With two worlds colliding, he couldn't help but wonder, was he willing to fight for this connection, despite the chaos it might bring? As Sarah's eyes searched his for reassurance, a flurry of questions raced in Jack's mind. What would he choose? In that moment, everything felt possible and yet, on the edge of something profoundly uncertain. Jack's mind swirled as his colleague loomed closer. The man's polished shoes echoed in the small diner, their sharpness contrasting with the warmth that had just enveloped Jack, Sarah, and Charlie. "Steve, this is," Jack hesitated, searching for the right words. "This is Charlie and his mom, Sarah." "Nice to meet you," Steve said, eyes narrowing slightly. "So, you're planning a picnic, huh?" Interesting choice for someone in your position. Jack felt the weight of Steve's skepticism like a heavy cloak draping over him. Was he really turning into the social butterfly? His corporate life had always demanded he be buttoned up, focused only on work. But here, in this moment, with Sarah and Charlie's excited smiles facing him, he found everything he had ever wanted digging its way to the surface. I think it's important to make time for fun, Jack replied, trying to keep his voice steady. He shot a glance at Sarah, whose face was unreadable. Would she understand the turmoil within him? Fun is good, Steve chuckled dryly. Just remember the serious side of things. You're not just some weekend warrior anymore. Jack's stomach twisted at Steve's words. It was as if his colleague were pulling him back, reminding him of expectations he thought he could escape, if only for a moment. But the brief flicker of concern on Sarah's face worried him more than anything else. He didn't want to ruin this. Actually, this is a great opportunity for me, Steve, Jack said, voice firmer now. Charlie is a great kid. I think we could all use a little picnic. Steve shrugged, his disinterest palpable. Suit yourself. Just don't forget where your priorities lie. With that, he turned on his heel and strode back to his table, leaving Jack with a frigid reminder of his other life. The air around them felt strained now, the warm, vibrant threads between him and Sarah tugged taut. Sorry about that, Jack mumbled, unable to meet her eyes as shame clawed at him. No, it's fine, Sarah replied softly, but Jack could see the uncertainty in her own gaze. It gnawed at him. I don't want to bring my work into this, he said, finally looking at her. This is not just a picnic for me. It's something I want. Jack Sarah started, her tone gentle yet cautious. It struck him that she was weighing this connection with the same seriousness he felt. Can we just try to enjoy the moment? He interjected, desperate to wipe away the doubt thickening the air. Tomorrow, let us focus on the picnic and what it could mean. Just for a few hours. Charlie, sensing the shift, leaned in. Can I help with the cookies, Mr. Jack? I want to make sure they're the best ever. Jack felt like gravity had lifted. A real smile broke through his unease. Absolutely, buddy. We'll make it a team effort. Their laughter returned, rising like a spark in the awkward silence left behind. Sarah exchanged a glance with Jack, one filled with something unsaid, a shared understanding. They could navigate through this. As they finished their food, Jack's mind raced ahead to the picnic. Could he really bring about something fresh and hopeful amid the looming pressures of his life? He thought about Steve's doubts and pushed them aside for now. We'll have so much fun, Charlie said, taking a big gulp of his drink. Right, Mom? Oh, for sure. Sarah said, her smile returning, brightening the room. But deep inside, Jack felt a storm brewing. Would he be enough? Could he truly transform this moment into something lasting? As he gathered his thoughts, one concern loomed larger than the rest. What if tomorrow didn't go as planned? The question lingered as they left the diner, hesitation mixed with anticipation. Could the picnic bring them closer or unravel everything? Jack knew one thing for sure. Tomorrow would decide more than just picnic plans. That a part of him yearned for the connection, but another part feared what this meant for his life. Would he take a leap, or retreat into familiar chaos? As they stepped outside, a sudden gust of wind whipped through the parking lot, carrying the scent of rain and something electric. Jack looked at Sarah, his heart puzzled and hopeful, but uncertainty loomed like the storm clouds above. Do you ever wish to escape what's expected of you? Jack asked, testing the waters. Her smile wavered, but her eyes held a storm of their own, a mixture of hope and fear. Sometimes I think we all do. What if they were both escaping? As they drove away, Jack couldn't shake the feeling that they were on the edge of something transformative, something that could change everything. What lay ahead was unpredictable, and they were just beginning to find out. But would they be ready for the ride? The next morning dawned with the promise of sunshine. Despite the storm clouds Jack felt swirling in his mind. His alarm chirped obnoxiously, pulling him from a restless sleep filled with half-formed dreams of laughter and a picnic spread beneath a bright blue sky. He rubbed his eyes and sat up, glancing at the clock that felt both too early and too late. After a quick shower, he dressed in casual clothes, his mind still caught in yesterday's conversation with Sarah. Did she truly want to take a chance on something new, or were they simply two ships passing in the night? As he stepped into the living room, the aroma of coffee simmered through the air, a welcoming scent that nudged him toward a sense of calm. An unexpected knock at the door made him jump. Nerves fluttered in his stomach. He opened it to find Charlie standing there, his face alight with anticipation. "Are we ready for the best picnic ever?" Jack couldn't help but grin. The kid's enthusiasm was contagious. "We sure are. I just need to grab a few things. Is your mom with you?" Charlie nodded vigorously. "Yeah. We're a team today." As they entered the kitchen, Jack spotted Sarah, her hair pulled back in a messy bun, wearing an oversized sweater that draped effortlessly over her. Her warm smile hit him like a ray of sunlight breaking through clouds. "Morning, Jack. I brought some stuff for the picnic, homemade cookies and lemonade, of course." "Wow, you really went all out," Jack exclaimed, his heartbeat picking up at the sight of her. Charlie's already fired up to help. They made quick work of assembling sandwiches, each slice of bread layered with meaningful exchanges and laughter that filled the small space. Jack felt a warmth spreading through him, a stark contrast to the chaos he always felt at the office. Each banter sparked a connection, that electric rhythm of getting to know each other's quirks and interests. As they finished packing everything, Charlie looked up, eyes wide with excitement. "Can I ride with you, Mr. Jack? I wanna see the park." Jack chuckled, ruffling Charlie's hair. "Of course. You can be my navigator." When they arrived at the park, the sun was finally breaking through the clouds. The grass glistened with droplets from the night's rain, and families dotted the area, their laughter weaving through the air. Jack felt a rush of exhilaration as they found the perfect spot beneath a tree, dappled sunlight dancing across the blanket they spread out. "Let's make the first cookie right now," Charlie insisted, his tiny voice bubbling with excitement. Jack chuckled, looking at Sarah, who was busy pouring lemonade. He's determined to win the best cookie title. As they prepared their snacks, Charlie's chatter filled the laughter-filled moments. He shared his favorite superhero stories while Jack and Sarah exchanged knowing glances, their shields lowering with each shared smile. But as they settled down to eat, a darker cloud of worry crept into Jack's mind, a whisper that reminded him of the responsibilities waiting at work. He fiddled with his phone that buzzed insistently on the blanket. A message from Steve flashed across the screen, reminding him of deadlines and meetings. The contrast of urgency against this idyllic moment felt suffocating. "Everything all right?" Sarah's voice pulled him back. Concern traced her features as she leaned closer, her eyes searching his. "Yeah, just work stuff," Jack said, forcing a smile. But inside, he was wrestling with the reality that this beautiful scene could slip away from him if he wasn't careful. "Do you think it's worth it?" he blurted, the words tumbling from him unfiltered. Balancing all of this while making time for what really matters. For a moment, silence enveloped them, thick with anticipation. Sarah took a breath, her expression soft yet thoughtful. "I think we can't forget to live a little in between the responsibilities. Otherwise, what's the point?" Jack felt a spark ignite within him. It wasn't just food, laughter, or sunshine that filled the moment, it was the realization that these small battles mattered far more than any corporate expectation. They shared stories, secrets, and laughter. But deep down, Jack was aware of the clock ticking away, reminding him of the looming chaos back home. As Sarah's eyes glimmered in the sunlight, they held a gaze filled with possibilities and challenges yet to come. But what if that chaos approached sooner than he expected? As the picnic unfolded, the weight of his choices settled heavily. Would he have the courage to embrace this unexpected turn in his life? And when the shadows of his responsibilities emerged, would he fight to keep this feeling alive? Jack's heart raced as he watched Sarah interact with Charlie. Each laugh, each joyful moment between the two of them felt like a secret pact forming. The worries that usually clouded his thoughts began to drift away, replaced by a warmth he hadn't expected. But the tension in the back of his mind, that nagging buzz of work demands, served as a constant reminder that this feeling might not last. Charlie was now sitting cross-legged on the blanket, his energy infectious as he animatedly discussed the latest superhero movie. Jack smiled, noticing Sarah's eyes twinkling with affection as she listened. The light filtering through the tree branches illuminated her face, painting a picture of peace that he desperately longed to hold on to. "Mr. Jack, did you know superheroes always save people from danger?" Charlie exclaimed, his little hands clenched into excited fists. Jack chuckled, watching the child's enthusiasm spiral into an array of explanations about how even the simplest acts could be heroic. "That's true, buddy. Even a small act can make a difference." Sarah interjected with a soft smile, "Just like making cookies can brighten someone's day, right?" "Exactly." Charlie beamed. "Can we do that? Can we be heroes?" A warmth spread through Jack, his heart swelled with a newfound clarity. Heroes weren't just about capes and battles. They were in moments of genuine connection, in laughter shared and in caring for others. He looked into Sarah's eyes, considering the bravery it took to step outside of comfortable routines. As the afternoon sun began to dip, painting the sky in oranges and purples, Jack's phone buzzed again, the sound slicing through the atmosphere like a sudden gust of wind. He hesitated, reluctantly pulling it from his pocket. Another urgent message from Steve about deadlines. A wave of heaviness crashed over him. I might need to check on work soon," he muttered, glancing at Sarah. Her smile faltered, understanding creeping into her features. "Jack, if it's too much, you can always reschedule. We can take time to be here." "It's okay. But what if I miss something important?" His insides twisted with the familiar anxiety. "Or what if you miss this?" Sarah gestured around them, encompassing the vibrant life swirling in every direction, from families playing catch to the rhythmic laughter of children nearby. Jack felt the comforting weight of Charlie's arm push against him as the boy leaned into his side. "I want to be a hero today. Just for now." Jack's breath caught in his throat. "You're right, Charlie." "What do you mean?" Charlie looked up with wide, hopeful eyes that he exhaled slowly, letting the tension seep away. "You are absolutely right. This moment is important. It matters." As the sun began to set, the golden light embraced them, wrapping them in a cocoon. For the first time in a long time, Jack found that the responsibilities would still be there when he returned. He could fight those battles later. With a newfound determination, he focused on Sarah's laughter, the joy radiating from Charlie, and allowed himself to truly be present. He wanted this simplicity in his life, the real victories, the ones found not in meetings or emails but in connection. As twilight descended, Jack realized he had stepped into something more significant than just a picnic. The warmth they shared felt like a cautious yet promising step closer to each other. But he also recognized the uncertainty lingering in his heart, the fear of vulnerability. Would he have the courage to explore this incredible connection deeper, or would the noise of the outside world pull him back under? As the first stars twinkled overhead, an unsettling thought flickered across his mind. Was it too late to change the course of his life? The night was young, but the choices ahead felt daunting. And in that quiet moment under the sky, Jack couldn't help but wonder, could love truly shine bright enough to light the way through the chaos? Jack nestled deeper into the warm glow of the evening, feeling as if time had momentarily stopped. The shadows of the trees danced around them, and the laughter of children filled the air, creating a perfect backdrop to the moment. Each second spent with Sarah and Charlie felt like an affirmation, a reminder that life could exist outside the boardroom and endless emails. "Do you think superheroes have ordinary days too?" Charlie asked, his innocent curiosity piercing through the tranquility. Jack chuckled softly. "You know what, buddy? I think they do. Everyone needs a break once in a while. Like today." Charlie exclaimed, his enthusiasm echoing off the park's trees as he jumped up. This is the best day ever. And for Jack, it truly was. He watched Charlie, his heart swelling at how vibrant the child was, soaking in every ounce of joy. Sarah's laughter reached him like music, and as she looked at him, her eyes full of that same warmth he'd felt when they first met, he wondered if he could take another step into the unknown they shared. You really care about him, don't you? Sarah's voice broke into his thoughts. She had seen him watching, and the softness in her expression was heartening. Absolutely. He is special, Jack replied, not realizing how true that statement would become. Just like his mom, she added, her tone shifting slightly as a shadow danced across her features. He felt a flutter in his chest, that ache of longing again sneaking in. What was it about Sarah that drew him in so completely? He admired her resilience, the warmth she radiated amid struggles he could only guess at. Life can be full of chaos, Sarah continued, tracing a finger through the grass. But it's these moments that make it worth it. Yes, Jack nodded, thinking about the way she effortlessly brought light to Charlie's world and to his. And I've been missing that. I've been running on autopilot. Sometimes, she said thoughtfully, we need a little bit of heroism in our everyday lives. Just simple acts of kindness, just being present. He felt the directness of her gaze, a silent challenge wrapped in tenderness. What would it take for him to be brave? Could he truly lean into this connection, face the chaos, and trust that it might lead somewhere beautiful? Here's an idea, Charlie piped up, breaking the moment of contemplation. Let us have a superhero cook-off. Jack laughed, the idea igniting a spark in him. What's that? Are we going to battle with spatulas? Yes. We can all make our favorite cookies and see which one is best. Charlie's excitement was contagious. Jack exchanged a glance with Sarah and felt an unspoken understanding pass between them. Consider it a plan, champ. But we should set an example for the hero community. No burnt cookies. They erupted in laughter. Suddenly, Jack's phone buzzed again, bringing him creeping back to reality. His heart sank slightly, feeling the pull of obligations, but a glance at Sarah affirmed what he needed to do. I'll just put this away for now, he said, turning off the screen. Today is about choices, and I choose to be here to be with you both. That's a heroic choice, Sarah remarked, her smile blooming again. As night deepened, the park glowed under twinkling lights, and the three of them embraced the community around them, their talk growing into dreams shared and laughter built. Jack realized he was no longer just the CEO, but a part of this little family unit that seemed to bloom right in front of him, and yet, as they leaned into their playful banter, an underlying question lingered in the back of his mind. Was he ready for the changes that could come from this bond? Could loving Sarah mean shattering the walls he had built so carefully? As Charlie plotted cookie strategies, Jack felt the gentle tug of fear and excitement intertwining. The moment had transformed, yet uncertainty loomed just beyond the horizon. Would he ride the wave of love into unknown tides, or would he retreat into safety? With that flicker of doubt, Jack stared into the starry night, and in that vast sky, he asked himself, is it possible that love truly holds the power to change the course of our lives? Jack's hand trembled slightly as he poured the flour into the mixing bowl. Charlie watched with wide eyes, a mixture of excitement and impatience bubbling over. Are you sure you know how to bake, Mr. CEO? He teased, sticking his tongue out playfully. Mr. CEO can whip up a mean batch of cookies, Jack replied with a grin, brushing off the playful ribbing as some flour dust fluttered into the air. Sarah leaned against the counter, arms crossed, her laughter ringing out as she watched the two of them. I think the greatest superhero skill is knowing when to take help, she quipped, stepping forward to hand Jack a measuring cup. Here, let me show you how to measure the sugar properly. Jack felt warmth spread through his chest at her easy way of stepping into the moment, guiding him without a hint of judgment. Their hands brushed slightly as he passed the cup back to her, sending a little jolt of electricity through him. Okay, let us add the chocolate chips. Charlie shouted, rushing to grab the bag from the pantry. His enthusiasm was contagious, and Jack found himself smiling more than he had in years. The evening wore on, laughter mingling with the aromas of melted chocolate and a hint of vanilla in the air. When the cookies finally came out of the oven, the trio stood before a tray of slightly misshapen but delicious-smelling treats. Charlie's eyes sparkled with pride. "Look at that. We're like the Cookie Avengers," he declared, puffing out his small chest. "Let us see whose cookie stands up against the mighty taste test." Sarah clapped her hands together in mock seriousness, clearly enjoying the playful competition. Jack took a bite from his cookie, savoring the sweet warmth that melted in his mouth. "Okay, I might not be a superhero in the kitchen, but I think I just found my superpower." Their laughter echoed through the now quiet park, each of them lost in the glow of the moment. Jack glanced at Sarah, her eyes bright under the warm kitchen lights. She looked so at ease, so effortlessly comfortable in her own skin. It made his heart race. But just as quickly as joy filled him, a shadow loomed in his mind, a shade of doubt. Would this be enough? Could he be the man Sarah deserved? Each laugh was a step closer to something deeper, yet fear tugged at him. What if he stumbled? What if this was a fleeting moment that would slip through his fingers like sand? As he met Sarah's gaze, he saw a flicker of understanding, a shared worry that maybe, just maybe, this connection was more than a summer fling. She was navigating her own risks, layers of her life that she hadn't yet shared. "Jack, can I ask you something?" she ventured, her voice steady though slightly hesitant. "Sure," he replied, forcing himself to stay present, even as his heart hammered at the implication behind her question. "What is stopping you from, fully embracing this? Us?" Her words hung in the air, palpable and charged. Jack's stomach dropped. This was what he had been dancing around, the reality that their lives could entwine beyond this moment of sweetness and laughter. "Fear, I guess," he admitted, his voice barely above a whisper. "Fear that my world is too chaotic for you and Charlie. Life is chaotic. But we're building our own story, right? Superheroes face fear and uncertainty. Maybe it's time you picked up your cape." Jack pondered her words, heart racing. This was the moment of truth he so often feared, a turning point he had only dared to imagine. What if accepting love meant stepping away from the safety he clung to? A sudden commotion pulled their attention. A young couple nearby had set off a small bunch of fireworks, reflecting bursts of color against the evening sky. The noise broke the tension, but Jack felt the urgency of Sarah's gaze on him still. He took a deep breath, fighting against the urge to retreat. Maybe the cookies were just the beginning. Maybe this was a pivotal moment that could shift everything. "Can we really talk after? About what we want?" Jack finally said, the words spilling out more boldly than he felt. "Of course," she replied, a soft smile spreading across her face, lighting up the uncertainty that still clouded his heart. As the fireworks ignited the night, Jack's heart raced with possibility. He was on the brink of something beautiful, and just for this moment, he felt ready to take the leap. Could these small, shared joys lead them to create a future together? And what awaited them in the conversation that lay ahead? The stars twinkled overhead as the night deepened, casting a gentle glow on the trio gathered in Sarah's cozy kitchen. The sweet scent of freshly baked cookies hung in the air, mingling with the warmth of familial laughter and the promise of something more profound. Jack felt an undeniable twinge of hope, coupled with a gnawing uncertainty, as they lingered on the brink of a conversation that could change everything. The fireworks outside burst into brilliant colors, a stark contrast to the simple beauty of their moment. He caught Sarah's gaze, her eyes alive with curiosity and a vulnerability he had not seen before. "Okay, let us take a step back," he started, feeling the weight of his words against the comforting backdrop of the evening. "I don't want to ignore what's being built here, but I need to figure out if I can really balance both worlds." Sarah nodded, understanding reflected in her eyes. "It's okay. We both want to figure this out. We're not rushing anything," she reassured him. Her voice was steady, filled with a mix of tenderness and strength. Jack felt his heart jump at the suggestion that this indeed could last beyond fleeting moments of fun. Charlie, he's amazing, Jack continued, finding clarity amid the storm of his thoughts. The kid had brought him so much joy, but he hesitated. What if I mess this up? I don't want to hurt either of you. I think we'll mess up sometimes. Everybody does, Sarah said, her voice soft but firm. But we can navigate through those moments together. That's what it means to be a family. Just be honest with us. Jack caught his breath. Family. The word echoed in his mind, each syllable resonating. He thought of the laughter they had shared, of Charlie's innocent zest for life and Sarah's spark of fire that lit up his ordinary days. I never thought I would want something like this, he confessed, vulnerability lacing his tone. You both make me feel real. You make me feel alive. A gentle smile spread on Sarah's face, acceptance and gratitude reflected there. We're taking this one step at a time, Jack. Maybe you don't need to have it all figured out right now. Just then, little Charlie decided to jump in, eager to lighten the mood. Did you guys know superheroes can do anything? Even making the best cookie ever. Jack chuckled, realizing Charlie's excitement was contagious. You're right, buddy. And maybe we need a superhero team-up to get through this. The tension eased, laughter spilling from them as Charlie climbed up onto a chair, pretending to adjust an imaginary cape. Let us celebrate. Can we eat now? Sarah burst into laughter, shaking her head. Okay, you win, Captain Cookie. Let us feast. They gathered around the table, food and joy spilling over. They each grabbed their favorite cookie and took their first bites, giggling at the slightly burnt edges and gooey centers. It was imperfect, just like their journey ahead. As they savored the simple sweetness, Jack felt lighter. The weight of corporate expectations flew away momentarily. The truth was, there was always going to be risk, but here, with Sarah and Charlie, he found a place that felt like home. And with this new realization blossoming in his heart, he knew he wanted to take that leap of faith. The laughter hung in the air like the afterglow of fireworks. They talked, they shared stories, and as the evening wound down, there was a newfound warmth that enveloped them. Jack took a deep breath, ready to embrace whatever was to come. Later, as Charlie yawned and curled into Sarah's side, Jack watched their little family unit with awe. I don't want to just be a weekend adventure, he declared, feeling clarity settle over him. I want to be a part of your lives for real. You already are, Sarah said softly, her voice steady, yet her eyes sparkled with joy. In that moment, something shifted. Jack understood it fully. This connection would take work, but it would also take courage. And he was willing to fight for it. As Charlie drifted to sleep, Jack felt hope wash over him. Maybe love could be just the light he needed to find his way through the chaos. Here's to new beginnings, Jack whispered, raising an imaginary toast, igniting the laughter once more. And as they laughed together, he found a deeper meaning to life right there, one filled with colors as bright as the fireworks outside, one worth fighting for. You don't want to miss more heartwarming stories like this. This is your moment to show your support. Subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss out on exclusive content. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Your support really makes a difference. Comment your reactions and feelings about this ending, we want to hear from you. And don't wait not even one more second, share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Only true fans understand the importance of supporting the channel through these actions.